Cute nerds in chat.
Hello. Hi, chat. Welcome to I'm Not Trying to Kill You. Go by Moonlight toward heaven. Sorry we're a bit late today. Things just kind of got a bit out of hand. That's cool. So we're probably going to play a shorter game, and that's all right. I'm your GM for today. My name is Ash, and my pronouns are she, her. And I have with me 4 lovely magical girls. Can we just go through our names and pronouns and who our characters are and stuff? Emily.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Emily. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am an artist and a filmmaker. And in this game, I am playing Cert, who is the team captain, and also just a big, sad, moody edgelord. And that's about it, really. Yeah. That.
Legit. Andrew.
I'm Andrew. I use they, them pronouns, and I designed this game. I guess that's the most interesting thing about me in this context. I'm playing Kristen Romer, who are, they like weirdly meld into being one person and are magical in that way. And they're rebellious spirits and forbidden lovers. And they're not captains of anything.
No. Melody. Mel, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
I gotta get out of that habit. Hi, I'm Melody. She, her pronouns. I write and play games and sometimes write games about goblins and gays and all kinds of things. Yeah, I'm playing Adna, who would be too pure and sweet for this world if she weren't hopelessly compromised by oppressive forces of the government. So.
Too real.
Luke.
Hello, I am Luke. You can find me on Twitter at Wildwoods Games. I am a game designer and a person who plays games on the internet, and in my professional life, I am a GM for children. My character is Swift. She is a time traveler from the far distant past of our setting, come to the future to save Christ, I think we settled on, from a dark and tragic fate.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know, yeah, I do what I can.
Good friends looking after each other.
Yeah. I have changed some of my character's promises since last session.
Yeah, do we all need to look at our promise prompts because they changed?
On account of the update.
I mean, I don't think we have to. But
We
like,
can if we want to. So if anyone wants
Yeah.
to look at their promises, then now's the time.
Yeah. And isn't it, Andrew, isn't it also just generally the idea that, like, if you want to change your promises, that is just a thing you can do?
Yep.
Yep.
Beginnings and ends of episodes or of session are a good time for that.
Cool.
Yep. So I might go over mine.
Yeah, sounds
I mean, it's probably not a bad idea for us all to just say what our promises are.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the XP triggers, so it's helpful
Yeah, it's
to
not,
like
you normally
have them
hit it
in
at the end of
mind.
the session. Yeah.
Yeah. So my prompts are: I have to make. Give me a moment. Let me find my playbook. I have to make 2 promises, like everyone except Andrew. Yeah. So my options are a forgotten promise, a doomed promise, or a paradoxical promise. And I have chosen a doomed promise. Emily, I will protect Surt and his people as I could not protect mine.
I love that because it's like these people are almost entirely dead.
Yeah, I know, right? Like it's way too little, way too late.
Yeah.
That's really good, though. I really like that.
Yeah, I like it like a lot better than what I had before.
Yeah.
And my new option for Adna is my forgotten promise.
Ooh.
Because I am still really into the idea that, like, for Swift, because y'all are named after and modeled after a bunch of the gods that she knew, a lot of her promises are very confusing. And so my promise to Adna is I will listen to Adna's wisdom, as I promised her long ago. Only the her that I promised that to was the actual god that you are like emulating.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and then my fated person is still Hrist, and they are fated to share the tragic destiny of their patron god or gods. And I'm trying to fix it.
You trying to?
Yeah, and our tragic destiny is that we will like dissolve into our character and roles that we play.
Yeah,
Yes.
something people.
But, like
Splinter into many little selves.
Rules question about promises. Do you only ever have 2, or could you have more or less? Or
You have
Two
2
is-
unless you are the harmony.
okay.
So I need to put a space in the character sheet for that, don't I, Andrew?
Was that for an extra promise?
Yeah.
I mean, they can fit. You can add promises. It's a
Oh,
It's a box,
yeah, right.
isn't it?
It's
Text box.
editable. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
I
There are
just put them
boxes.
all in one text box because I didn't even notice.
you can
that
add
there
a
was
second text box.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna do that now.
If you are so inclined. I mean,
Whoops.
them all being in one big text box or not,
Yeah.
it's fine.
All right.
I need to think about another promise, so if someone could go before me, that would be good.
Mel?
I'm happy to do mine.
Yeah.
So I have got so I haven't updated mine, although I think they kind of fit. Still a practical promise, which is to make sure that Sort isn't left alone and has a friend. And a protective promise, which is to Chris and Rama to make sure that they get to heaven and can be themselves.
It's a very
Which
good
is-
promise.
Yeah, which I have been finding is maybe a bit too big picture. I might need to revise it a little bit. Just because I think I need maybe something a little bit more directly actionable. But we'll see how we go with taking on a tougher mission.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's
Emily, how are you doing with promises?
Yep. So I haven't changed mine either. Although the second one that I have hasn't been coming up very much, so I'm considering changing it, but I'm still thinking on it. So I have a promise to change, which is I will learn to feel as Adna does.
Aww.
Try and have emotions like Adna.
Are you sure you want that?
I mean, I don't know.
Tragic suffering emotion.
Exactly. Well, I can do those ones. I've got the tragic suffering pretty much sorted. It's everything else. And I have a promise to share. And at the moment I will teach Swift about how the world has changed and how to deal with the ghosts. That's the one that I don't feel as like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't feel like it quite fits. It's not really the dynamic or the content that we've been doing. So I'm thinking of changing that, but I haven't decided.
Yeah, I'm open to that. Yeah, if you want to change that, I'm like, if you would like to talk about ideas, that would be cool. Or if you would like to surprise me with it, that would also be
Sure. All right. I'll think on it a bit. Yeah.
Cool. All right. How you doing, Andrew?
I got it.
Cool.
It's gonna be sad. Everyone brace yourselves.
That's a gimme.
Cool. So our shared promise is I'm gonna keep one from before, which is we will hold Adna's beauty above all others, because we just think Adna is the most pure and perfectest.
Aww. That's sweet.
And then
True.
our conflicting promises are that Hrist wants to support Swift in telling new stories, but Ramer does not want to let Cert's story be changed by anyone.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool.
I like that.
That's
Cool.
good. That's good.
Yeah, that's really right.
Also,
There
I
is
love.
lots of tension around Cert's like identity and what kinds of stuff, like who he is meant to be and become.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because I think that that's actually still very undiscovered. Like there is a lot of we've talked about like that as a concept, but like I don't know what that is. Like I as a player don't know what that looks like, which I think is interesting. So that's a good reminder for me. to kind of be like, okay, I am playing a character who potentially has this sort of interesting destiny or future. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Well, and that like the institution wants certain things of you, and then that Swift has this whole other agenda, and that you're kind of caught in the middle of those two.
I resemble that remark.
You resemble it.
Yep.
Okay. So what steps did we get to last time? We didn't
We had
choose what
just
mission we were going
wrapped
to
up.
do.
Well, so we'd finished our standard round of downtime actions. But we had fairly concretely discussed the idea of doing the gamble for an extra downtime action.
That's true,
and seeing if we could tip readiness over to the second tier.
Yeah.
So that then we could do a thing. And I think was it Kristen Rolmer with the Toad gem, who had discovered that, like, if we could go deeper into heaven, we could, like, interface...
We could petition...
directly and emotionally with the gods, rather than just having to fight these little, like, proxy things.
Yes, that somewhere in there is are, like, the gods themselves. They do...
Yeah, we're gonna go hunt an actual Leviathan, not just...
Yes, not just a minion kind of level.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, so, like... who wants to take that action?
Sorry, what is the action?
That's another readiness
Something
action.
to what would be the exact wording?
To ready us.
To make preparations.
So we have an available...
So the thought was we would take the gamble, we'd take the risk of increasing the darkness track to do it to get that extra investigate action.
I mean, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I've got 2 analyze. If that...
What have I got? Let me look.
And like that is how I would go about it.
Yeah, probably.
Because we can make preparations in a lot of different ways.
Yep, and I'm the same. I also have 2, so I don't mind.
Yeah, so either of us work.
Let's do rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
Okay, best of 3.
John can
Fun. Oh, okay. Again.
John can
It's so hard to do on stream. God damn it.
All right, do it under the reveal under the screen and then bring it up. Like I trust us not to
all right.
cheat. I feel like that'll make it easier because we won't be like accidentally. Oh, I saw it a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Okay. John can. You win. All right. Well, sort of. Yes, you do.
Yes.
It's 2 draws. Okay. So you go.
All right. Cool.
That is so hard to do on stream.
I know. That delay. And I feel like God, because what was the last thing? I'm just trying to remember the last session.
Did I scrying and?
Did I do an investigate? I think I did. No, I didn't. I tried to reduce the. I tried to tick down Chris's Dark Fate clock.
Yes, and then there was a lot of like charting and mapping of things, and like some control room stuff that went on.
The eyes.
I was spending a lot of help. Oh yeah. It's totally got to be something to do with the eyes.
The Shrine of Eyes.
Oh god. Okay. So I know what it is. So the scene we see, it's like the cold open for the episode, and it's Swift in the Shrine of Eyes. And she is kneeling in the middle of the room, like in Caesar position. So like flat legs and then thighs and then sitting like that. And she has her eyes closed and she's breathing very, very deeply. But all around her on the walls, because again, like this pinprick of light is coming in through the hole in the ceiling and then reflecting off the mirror and like then reflecting off the like 1,000 mirrored eyes on the wall. So she's just like covered in all these tiny little like eye-shaped like lights that are like dancing around her skin. And then we like dissolve out of that shot into Norna, the owl spirit, with Swift's consciousness like flying with her down, plunging into heaven and like looking with the power of the Shrine of Eyes to like find the heart of the darkness and like where it lies.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what that looks like.
Better roll for it.
Cool. And this counts as gathering info?
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because there's no effect in downtime. So otherwise, I would get the cool thing. Cool. So risky, whatever. Standard, whatever. Dice, whatever. Just roll it. See what happens. Yes.
Holy
Got a 6.
Okay,
I'm good
so
at
that
this game.
advances the track by 3, which is enough to get us where we want it to
To
be.
get us where we want to go.
Yay, that's cool.
And so now,
And I get to ask some questions, right?
yeah, once this is all done, we will do a little bit of bookkeeping to see if the darkness takes notice of your
Yeah.
prying eyes.
My prying eyes.
Can we actually roll that first?
I think I think that will flavor.
That would
yeah,
flavor
let's
how
roll
we
that right now.
interpret it.
Yeah, so remind me, we roll the tier of the
Yeah, roll dice equal to the current darkness track tier.
which is 1.
Just one.
Yeah, because it hasn't filled in yet.
You roll 1 die. On a 6, the clock does not advance. On a 4 to 5, it will advance 1 segment. On a 1 to 3, it advances 2 segments.
I did it. I escalated.
Yay!
So that's
It
2 segments.
turns out we might be heading towards the end of the season far sooner than we thought.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone.
So that means the darkness like levels up.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Ash levels up. It's true. Gets to take a new MC advance and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is that a thing?
No.
No.
Oh, okay,
I'm just fucking with you. Also,
Alright.
I like that the darkness and the readiness are now like bang on equal.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
They're matching. Yeah. So I know what my my main question is.
What's your main question?
What events are already in motion here? With here being heaven.
I think as you fly, you pass over a giant mirrored orb. It is probably the size of a football stadium, and you see this speck upon it, and you fly closer, and the speck resolves from like, black and confused into like muddy and then a deep black red. And it's a body just like sprawled on it as if it's fallen onto this thing from a great height and just become a broken mess. And as you fly closer, you see that it is covered in these marks and these scars, and this person is they're just immortal. They are immortal. They're a person. They're not a pilot. They're not an anything.
Can I just for like clarification sense the giant mirrored eye?
Yeah.
Do I get the impression that is a god?
No, it's an aspect of. It's just a part of the like.
Okay, so it's one of the like big mechas that the gods pile around. It's not an actual.
No, it's just
god.
a part of the scenery, right? It's just a part of.
Okay, it's
heaven.
just terrain. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's just
cool,
terrain.
Cool. Okay,
the
easy.
point being that they've fallen an incredible distance to hit it.
Yeah.
Right, they've had to they've had to fall a long way into
long
heaven
way.
to get wrecked like this.
Yeah.
And you
Do I
wouldn't
get,
expect to see
because I
them
got
here
the
at all.
6? Do I get another 2 questions?
Yeah. And then you follow up.
What
Is
do I remember about this person?
this
if
person in
anything?
particular?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I don't think you've ever seen them before, but you can
Do
tell
the
that they
runes
are-
and the markings like mean
right,
anything
exactly,
in
yeah.
particular?
Yeah, I think you recognize the markings of Cassiel, right? Like that you see a rune of Cassiel.
Oh shit.
But it's not a bastion marking. it's a marking of Surt's people, their understanding of Cassiel.
Yep.
But this is definitely a person who is of the Bastion, right? Like they are clearly Bastionese. But they have these markings in a language that they probably don't even like. Bastion people can barely like pronounce or understand Surt's language. They just butcher it every time, so they probably can't even pronounce the names of these things that they've carved into there. And you can tell that there's some of like other deities as well. But I think the thing that you notice is that the deepest markings are the ones between the ones for actual deities, right? Like they'll do like a little deity, and then they'll do like a marking much deeper but smaller nearby it to refer to. I think you recognize that that's about like smaller things.
Yeah, and like, are these marks like? Is this a written record? Is this a binding? Is this a summoning? Is this an invocation of powers? Like, what is the purpose of these runes? What do they do?
Yeah, is this your third question?
I feel like that's part of what do I remember about this.
Okay, yeah. It's a channeling.
Great. Excellent. Awesome. That just the best. How could that possibly be bad? My third question is... Okay, so first I'm just going to ask for, like, does it look like this person is alive? Or is it, are I looking at a corpse?
They're well broken. It is a broken body.
It is a corpse. Yep, cool. Awesome. All right.
It has been a broken body for at least a day and a bit.
Yeah, so I think the owl, like, swoops down further and lands on the body. And, like, touches it. And then our viewpoint shifts, and this scene would be disconcerting if it were happening in like a place with a space we recognize, and it's even weirder here because like all of the signals of time in this place start to like wheel and turn forward. What really happens here?
Oh, this is so
like
good.
What does this body, like, what happens as a result of this body? What happens in the future? Where is the body going? If I like fast forward ahead,
so
what is about to ensue?
Like, okay, so the thing I love about this is so good. All right,
time travel.
Swift, what does it look like when you like? What magical doing does it look like when you do this peering into the future?
Like, what does it look like back in my body, or like?
Well, to my understanding, you're flying along, like you have like an astral form that is near.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I think my astral form is like in the owl. I think Norma and I are like one.
So I want to make a point here that it's not in the owl; it's being guided by the owl.
Okay, cool. Even better. Even better. Yeah. So I think. Yeah, I think Swift just like closes her eyes for a moment, and we see her lips move in like a soundless, like prayer or incantation. We're not really sure. And her tattoos, all of those tattoos, both like the green one, and then like the golden ones that were pulled out of one of the engines, like start to glow. And then I think they start to like move and writhe under her skin at the same time as we get the like the time lapse effect of like the sun like wheeling around in big circles in the background of the shot, and like the clouds scudding around and like time passing.
Yeah, and as you're doing that, it's all like you and I think you like focus and start turning time, right? And I think we get this weird thing where we can see this mirrored orb with like a streak of blood run down the side, and we can see the area around you, and then the reflection in the mirrored orb, this giant nebula of like tree, like Moreton Bay fig, and small blue and purple stars and space dust stays still in the real world. But in the reflection in the orb, it turns and kind of unfolds a little. And this wooden skull with Ock's skinned face, like the skinned face of Ock, like rung over the wooden skull, turns and looks at you and your companion, and like reaches out through the reaches out and breaches
the mirror,
the
like
mirror,
through?
and grabs a hold of Norna and just pulls them back, pulls the owl back into the mirror. And you can see that, and as it does so, the mirror goes from being a glass mirror to a steel one.
I don't like this. I don't like. There's a lot here, and I don't like it.
That's intense.
It's bad, actually.
Yeah. What are you going to do now that you're in heaven and Norna is gone?
God. Yeah, have I just like accidentally started the mission by myself like an idiot? Maybe I have.
You were like, what happens in the future, and thus cause the thing to happen.
Yeah, God.
And like, I think you look back towards the thing that this is, right? The Moreton Bay Fig Nebula, and although it doesn't and in the reflection it's gone back to what it was, right? But you can see it sending tendrils towards the gateway between heaven and our world. There's just all of these little, and they're not tree tendrils.
They're like suckers,
they are,
right? Like,
yeah, they would be like plant tendrils, but they are made of something more delicate, more stardust.
Excellent. Yeah, so I think Swift does in this situation the only logical thing, which is like she lets go of the flow of time and lets it wind back to like the present moment, right? Like, and so she just lets go, and like everything is suddenly like super fast and blurry, like resolving back into like where she was in like the present moment.
Yeah,
of time.
Except Norna's not there.
Yeah, except totally, which I expected. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think then we just cut to like Swift's body in the Shrine of Eyes, and she like lets out like a deep shuddering breath and opens her eyes, and like stands and like immediately stands up, and then like we cut.
Cool. Cool. So that was nice. I like the way that the investigation and the darkness advancing together weave together well. What are you all gonna do?
That was nice.
Do you want to have some free? Do you want to have some free play?
Like
Let's just jump into free play for a little bit before before we like launch into a mission, because I think that's important at this stage.
I feel like cinematically speaking, have we all been like, everyone except Swift been like sitting around a table kind of like saying, so what are we going to do next? What's our next step? You know, like kind of planning things. And then Swift comes in just having had that experience or something.
Yeah, like Swift doesn't even come into the room by conventional means. I think Swift does the like weird like time phasey thing, just like into like standing like right next behind Adna. And yeah, there's just like this moment of like wavering, and then all of a sudden it solidifies and Swift is just like there in the room.
Is this someone behind me?
I like look up at Swift and I'm like, Swift, what's wrong?
Yeah, and I think her face is like set and grim, and like her tattoos are like flaring with color, like just like sporadically. And every time, and like she walks around the table to like sit down, but leaves like a ghost image of herself like hanging in the air for like a heartbeat, like midway through the passage, because she's not totally got control of like her place in the timeline again yet. And she just sits down and she says, "There's something in heaven. Something wrong.
There's a lot of things wrong in heaven.
More wrong than usual."
What is
Kirsten
it?
Romer like gasps theatrically, but then are like, Wait. Like, there's
Wrong
always...
in heaven? No way.
What is
What
it?
did you see?
I went down into heaven. Not, and I like anticipating
Yeah.
that Cert will be concerned.
exactly.
I like hold up my hand and I'm
like, about to give
I hold up my hand and I'm like not, and I like gesture to like my body and I'm like not like that. The spooky thing.
I still hate it when you do that.
I went down into heaven. I saw a great mirrored orb, like an eye, made of glass, but enormous, bigger than the unconquered sun. There was a body lying on it.
Anyone we know?
No one I'd ever met, but a mortal.
Someone from the Bastion?
Someone from the Bastion, not one of us. A normal mortal. Carved and scarred and tattooed and marked with symbols of your people. Channeling the gods.
Did they look like one of my people?
No.
Did they look like they'd been marked against their will?
I don't know.
Yeah, and Romer cuts in with like, well, surely it's them making some sort of sacrifice or something. I hear they do that, and like looks at Hrist for confirmation, and Hrist is like,
And this is like a real thing.
I think
Not just like a-
it's up to Swift whether or not she knows this, but yeah, like I think if close inspection would reveal that they're self-inflicted.
Yeah, I think like she was like right up like in the face
she
of
would've
the
worked that out.
body.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of her tattoos, in my mind, she probably like it was a ritual thing, like she did them herself. I think she's familiar with like what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think she's like they inflicted the marks themselves. Someone of the Bastion who would have no way to know those marks, covered with them. I'm sorry, Emily, you have a question.
No, it's okay. I foolishly didn't write a thing down because I think last time there was that thing where I found some words that I mean they were in the
yeah,
language
you got that letter.
of heaven.
Yeah, the magic words to hide
I
things.
don't
from-
remember. Did we actually find out what the words were, or did we
No.
just know what their purpose was? Okay, they were to hide things. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, Ash, were like Swift was involved in that translation? Were they the same similar words?
Like same language stuff.
Same
But that
language,
was
but
in-
not like the same spell.
Oh, so Emily's one was in the equivalent of Enochian, but I think they were done in
Yeah.
the same like script.
Oh.
Like the same kind of hand.
Oh, okay.
There's a similarity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
And so I
I'm
think-
going to retcon.
yeah.
I'm going to retcon that actually the scars are in Enochian as well.
Okay.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, so someone of the Bastion covered with scars they cut in themselves in Enochian.
Yeah.
Which no one in this city, sort of besides Ok, me, you, maybe Camael, knows.
And like, yeah, as soon as you say the thing about Enochian, like I immediately get very, I look very uncomfortable because because of that stuff.
It had been down there, I think, no more than a day. It's down there right now.
We should go investigate.
So then I traveled. I went
Like
forward. Heaven wheeled around me, but nothing to see there. But the reflection of something nearby the eye moved. Like I do. Outside time. And it took my companion into the eye.
What did it look like?
Do you know? And I think I revert back to like in language, and I'm like, it's like my language's word for this kind of tree, which I think maybe is similar enough that you like can also understand it, because like your people we know lived more in the forest and like had probably kept more of the words for trees and stuff. So yeah, it's like you know, it's like
the closest word that the Bastion would have would be big tree.
Weed.
Like just it was a big tree. There you go. Good. Bastion.
Yep,
Bastion
that's all you need to know. It was big. It was like a big tree that you could build things from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like the hungry, grasping strangler that smothers plants that are right. Like it would be like the literal translation of it.
Yeah.
Like that tree, right? That, but stars. Wheeling in a nebula, and then at the end of the vision, I saw some time from now. And Ash, did I get a sense of the time frame of like how far ahead I had gone? Like a week?
Yeah, you'd gone about a month forward, like several weeks. To a month.
And then weeks from now, the tree, the real tree nebula, not the one in the reflection, begins growing and reaching up from the gate.
Okay. So do we need to go in and deal with this tree?
I fear so. I think the gods will have to wait. Because, and I think Swift drops entirely into language for this next bit, and no one else like understands it, and says, like the nebula had a face like a wooden skull, and it was wearing ox skin like a mask.
I think
they say it like ripping a band-aid off, right? Like there's no like hesitation. It's just like, here is a plain fact that you are not going to like, so I'm just gonna say it as bluntly and plainly as possible, and then like shrug apologetically, like I'm sorry that is what I saw, but like that's what I saw.
Yep. I think so. It gives you like a really like there's a moment where he just stares at you, and then he gives you like a really business-like nod, and he like picks up something that is on the table where we've been meeting, like maybe a glass or something, and like walks out of the room on the like premise of like getting a drink, and then you just hear him like just like vomit out of the room like somewhere.
Yeah.
I think the scale of this thing, it could have it's that tree is probably an actual Leviathan.
Yeah.
Like
a
literal,
like a god in its own right, not just like a.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Great.
When looking for
Ash,
one,
does that mean I get to name a? Does that mean I get to name a god again?
Sure. Yeah, and this is an actual god, not the representative of some god.
Cool. I get to play the naming things game. My favorite part of this entire game. A mini game invented by and for myself.
Inasmuch
I want to go
as
fight
it has
this
a
thing.
physical form.
Mm-hmm.
Inasmuch as it has a physical form.
Yeah.
It would be
Also,
it's
a god.
Prime,
we need to go have emotions at it.
It's prime representation in the physical plane.
Yeah.
Also, Melody, the picture that you posted, like I had this like total freak out for a second because I was like, oh yeah, it's like a Moreton Bay fig. Wait a minute, I know that Moreton Bay fig. Wait a minute, I climbed in that Moreton Bay fig when I was a kid and realized, yeah, it's the one. It's in McLaren.
Holy shit! That's awesome. I just like did the Google image search, and it was like the second one that came off, and I was like, I bet I've seen some of these because there's so many of them around Adelaide.
I love the thing about this because Emily is renowned for in Adam's photo streams and in other things for identifying plants, and not only is
Adam,
Emily
that's a fake plant.
Yeah, and not only has Emily identified what kind of tree this is, she's like, oh, I know which one.
It's a specific tree. Yeah, good job.
Peak Emily.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's the most extreme version of that. Wow.
At the height of her powers.
Yeah. So.
Now I want to climb a tree.
What is this tree thing named?
I'm working on it. You think I just pull these fucking 15-word long poetic titles just like out of my head with no prior
No,
notes?
out of your heart. Out of your heart.
I'm working on it, Andrew. I'm working on it. Okay.
Take our first break here then to give Luke a
Give
minute.
me some time to think.
Because we're trying to keep it short today because we started a little late.
Yes,
and I
that is
Melody
legit.
has
I've got to head off at 3:30 Adelaide time.
Yeah, so we will take a break now,
Cool.
and then we'll be back in a minute. See you soon, chat.